Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen. Right back, right here. It's Wednesday. It's actually Ash Wednesday. So some people may actually be celebrating, and on a day like today, we traditionally don't eat meat. So in light of that, and in light of all kinds of things, we're gonna cook up one of my favorite meals. Are you ready for it? Okay, so today we're gonna do a fish dish. Yes, I'm channeling my inner Dr. Seuss as I try to say fish dish throughout this whole thing. We'll see how far I get. This is a recipe that I found. It's actually right here. I don't know what magazine I got it from. This is where I started. It's one of those little tiny magazines. It's an advertisement for the Jane's breaded fish. I made it and I've taped it to the inside of one of my kitchen cupboards, one of the favorite spots where I put all of my favorite recipes. So I have a banana bread recipe put up there. I have my favorite muffin recipe up there. I have my favorite go-tos taped to the inside of my cupboard doors. In fact, there's more. Can you see them? Blowing in the wind. Open a random cupboard door in my house and you'll see some recipes. One quick way to go to something quick and simple, right? Other ways is you can put them into binders, all kinds of things. Everybody's got their own organization methods. But today, I pulled out my fish recipe and I went, this is the perfect dish for today. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started. Of course, we're going to use a stone. You're going to set your oven at 350 degrees. It's kind of a two-step meal, but we'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple. We're starting with some white fish, some tilapia. If you have breaded fish, you can do that. This recipe actually started with breaded fish. There's my phone. Isn't that nice? It started with a breaded fish as a breaded fish recipe. So when I have breaded fish, I use it. When I don't, I don't. So instead of the breaded fish side, we're just going to use the regular white fish, and I'm going to put some flour on either side. So first things first is I am going to grease my pan. Now, if you have a stone, they're awesome and non-stick. You don't need to do it. If you have an olive oil spritzer, you might want to spray it around the sides. Eggs tend to stick a little bit more than anything else on a stone. Even with a well-seasoned stone, I think I would still do it just for the ease of serving, right? Serving, you don't want it all falling apart when you're starting to serve it. So with a butter, it tends to just pop right out. So I have my trusty paper towel, or if you have your olive oil spritzer, which I do over there, I don't know why I didn't use that today, but I used butter yesterday, and so that's what came to my head first. And my paper towel, and all I'm doing is lining my dish. You don't take a lot of butter, it just is a matter of lining your dish. I'm using a deep dish stone today. You're going to want something with high sides because this is a casserole. So we're going to use that. I've got that all set and ready to go. Dispose of the paper towel. The next thing to do is to dredge our fish. So I'm going to take my fish bits. I've got some flour laid out here, and I'm just going to coat them in flour, just like so, like this. And then I'm just going to fit the fish into the stone. Can you see that? Or is it? Let's move the stone up here so you can have an even better view. Move our butter away. But now you can't see me dredging the fish. So, reorganization time. Game on. Okay, there we go. So now we're just putting some flour onto that fish. This is just going to soak up any extra moisture. When fish cooks, it tends to leak some moisture. This will just help soak up some of that moisture and contain the flavor for us. That's all we're doing here. This is very, very simple. If you wanted, throw the fish into a Ziploc bag with some flour and perform your best shake and bake dance. Kids would love to do that. Give a game of the hokey pokey going around and toss the bag of fish around. Just make sure it's sealed really well. Make it fun. My kids like to do this when we do breading, right? Obviously, when you bread fish or chicken or anything, you end up with this setup going as well. It's not always the neatest, as you can see the flour flopping all over the place. Now, do I have an answer for neatness? I do. Do I have it with me? I don't. But I can get it to you. So if you're curious and you do a lot of breading, contact me. I got lots of stuff for you. You want enough fish to cover the bottom. So I have some fish I'd already cut up here, and I have a little bit of extras on reserve here, so we're going to pull those in because they're fitting into the bottom of my pan quite nicely. This is a favorite dish of mine. I really, really like it. My kids will eat it, with the exception of one child who has a huge egg aversion. every time I try to sneak any sort of egg into anything of his, he can find it. So you know there's a true aversion when you don't even, when everybody else doesn't even know it's there, but he can still taste it somehow. So he's just not good with eggs, and there's eggs in this recipe. So actually, I didn't tell you what we're starting out with. So we're starting out with fish. We got lots of fish. We've got Granny Smith apple that I've chopped up with my trusty chopper into tiny little bits because that's going to get spread around. We've got about a cup, well, this called for half a cup, but we always double the cheese whenever it's called for anything because who doesn't love cheese? So I have a cup of shredded cheese here. I have 3 green onions chopped up nice and fine. I have about a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese shredded. I have 3 garlic cloves. I have 2 cups of spinach. I have some Dijon mustard, some dill seasoning, we're going to use that, salt and pepper, breadcrumbs. I'm using panko instead of breadcrumbs, but about a cup and a half. And I have eggs. We're going to use 8 eggs today. Yes, 8. I know it sounds like a ton, and it is a ton, but it's a big recipe, and it's going to last for a long time. My recipe fell into my sink. I'm so sad. Okay, so we've got the fish dredged and breaded here, right? That's perfect. What do we need to add next? We're going to add our Granny Smith apple, and we're just going to shake it and spread it all over the top of it. Spread it around as best you can. This is 1 apple. It's a pretty big apple, and I actually still even ate a piece, so there's a lot to spread here. It leaves a really nice flavor, but it works very, very well in this recipe. It's really awesome, so don't be shy. Don't get scared. The apples turn out really, really well. Okay, there's your Granny Smith apple. We have green onions. We're going to throw those in on top. Okay, spread those out as best we can. So now your dish looks something rather pretty, actually. It's white fish with lots of green sprinkles. I got to figure out this glare setup here. It's kind of bad. Okay, so after that, we got the casserole dish with the green onions. We're going to do our dill. You'd think after all this time doing the recipe I would remember it, but I don't totally remember it. 2 tablespoons of dill. We're just going to sprinkle it over top. Now, if you really dislike the taste of dill, use 1 tablespoon. Don't use any. It's really up to you. Dill can be pretty strong. I don't use the full 2. I do about 1.5. But dill's a really nice flavor with fish. It goes over really, really well. Okay, so we've got our dill. We've got everything else. Now we're going to move over to the eggs. Okay. 8 eggs. Yes, 8. So start with a big one. We're just going to crack in 8 eggs. Okay. Carburetor works awesome. 2. Except for when the faucet gets in the way. 3. This is also the day where those of us that are Catholic have to decide what we're going to give up for Lent. Always one of the hardest days for the kids ever. I love it when my kids try to give up something that they don't like. I want to give up homework. Really? Because I'm sure there's a lot of suffering involved there. It's a fun day to do. It's actually an interesting thing to do is to challenge yourself to give up something that you enjoy immensely for 40 days, right? It's difficult. It's hard. It's harder than I ever thought it would be. So we're going to whisk up these eggs. We're going to beat them like a good parent would. Again, I'm talking about the eggs. I think I used that joke yesterday. Is it getting old yet? I thought it was pretty funny yesterday. A little weird. Ooh, I think we reconnected there, disconnected and reconnected. If anybody's on, can you give me a thumbs up or a hi just to make sure you can still see me? It shows that we're on live, but it's showing that we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, something maybe with the Wi-Fi, I don't know. We'll have to see. I always forget my little clip thingy. Get this guy's out. So I'm going to put in 2 cloves of garlic, not 3. I don't need it to overcome the whole thing. I do like garlic. We all know that. Garlic is excellent in these little things. This is where I start to take recipes and I veer from them. The first part was all pure from the recipe. The rest of this is off the cuff, completely off the cuff. It's half of it I'm going to wing while we're doing this here. And the other half, well, we'll just figure it out. I don't know. But every time I do this, it turns out really, really well. So we're going to go with it. I'm going to use my gut. So I've got some spinach here. This is a new addition. I've never put spinach in it before, but it seems like the right thing to add to this. It seems like an excellent way to get some spinach into my kids without them being able to complain. And it's a nice add-in. So I'm just going to take my spinach as best I can, and I'm going to roll it up. It's the easiest way to cut spinach. So roll it up into rolls, which you can't see because I have these giant bowls. Why don't you guys tell me this? You can't see anything. Yell at me. Roll it up, and all we're going to do is we're going to go through the spinach like this. Easy way to cut leafy herbs, spinach, lettuce, all of that stuff. It only cuts it one way, and then we've got to go back the other way so that we don't have long strings of spinach. The smaller you cut your spinach, the more success you will have with your children, because they will think that it is an herb like a dill or a parsley or something. You're not going to taste the spinach at all. It's an added bonus. It's the perfect little bonus to throw into any food. Wherever you think you can squeeze spinach in, do it. It doesn't have a lot of flavor when it's mixed in with a lot of different things, and it's a perfect way to sneak it in, right? Throw it into your pasta sauces. Throw it into your smoothies. I throw it into my kids' sandwiches sometimes, and they just think it's the other lettuce. They don't have a problem. It works out really, really well. Now, the first time they see it and realize that it's green, you know, the old anyone under 12 is allergic to anything green. I'm sure you know a few adults like that. I have a few in my close friends setup as well. So we've got the spinach finely chopped. Chopped finely, finely chopped. However you want to do that. We're going to throw that in with the eggs. So we've got garlic in there. We've got spinach. I have my Parmesan. I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to save a little bit of the Parmesan to put on top of the breadcrumbs when we get to that point, which we haven't got there yet. And I need a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Make sure we get everything out of that guy, our full teaspoon. All right, salt and pepper, never go anywhere without it. Now remember, your oven is up at 350. And my whisk. Where did I put my whisk? Maybe I didn't whisk my whisk. I could have sworn. Yep, it fell into the sink. Here it is. Okay. So we've got our whisk. Just going to whisk this all together. Whisking it would go by faster. All right, so we've got our egg mixture that we're simply going to pour over top of our fish mixture. Sweet and simple. I just usually like to move it around so that it's evenly distributed. Smaller containers, the fish will overcome everything, or the egg will come up the sides a little more. If you felt like you needed more eggs, you could add more eggs. If you felt like you needed more moisture, you could add some milk into your egg mixture. All of those will work. I find 8 eggs is more than enough. So we've got our egg mixture in. We've got our fish. And I'm going to put this in the oven. This is going to go in the oven now for about, hang on, the first round is about 20 minutes at 350. We're going to pull it out. The egg is not going to be done yet. Don't fret. We're going to pull it out, and then we're going to put our mixture of the panko on top, and then we're going to put it back in for another 20 minutes, okay? So while that's in the oven now, we're going to get our mixture of panko set up. And I always forget this one, how this works. So we have butter. We're going to take a tablespoon of butter, or a hunk of butter. I'm going to use a fork because I find this works really well with a fork. Okay, tablespoon into my panko, and all you're going to do is you're going to mash it around. What I tell my kids on this one too, even better, just get your hands dirty. Because what you're doing is you're just mixing the butter in with the panko. You could melt the butter here if you wanted. Whichever works best for you. Pour in melted butter. All you want to do is get the panko and the butter blending, because that's what's going to turn it brown and crispy on top. Make that really nice crisp topping, okay? We've got that there. All we're going to do here is we're going to add our cheddar cheese. And then this is ready to go. This is waiting. Hang on, this is a little too messy for my tastes. This is ready. So when our 20 minutes is up with the fish in the oven, we're going to pull them out. We're going to sprinkle this on top, cover the entire top of it. We're going to put it back in for another 20 minutes. The key to knowing when it is done is when the eggs are set. So you're going to want to stick your knife or fork in, pull the egg apart, make sure it's set right to the bottom. If your panko isn't brown to your liking on the top, turn on your broiler at that point. You're ready to go. You're ready to pull it out and serve immediately. It's really, really nice. It doesn't have a whole lot of starches in it. It's a great meal. It combines all kinds of great, wonderful things, and it's a good one on a day like today when you don't want to have meat, if you don't want to have meat. Or if you're looking to throw some more fish into your diet, this is a good way to do it. Oh, and don't forget about the little residual Parmesan. Once you've got this on top, you can throw your Parmesan, the rest of it on top, and it all browns up. Nice, some cheese, apple, fish, and eggs all together in one dish. It's really, really good. Please try it. Trust me, it might sound a little weird, but it is a go-to in our house, and it's really, really awesome. So we've used our stoneware to make fish, we've used our stoneware to make eggs, we've used our stoneware to make pancakes. It's like the one tool that's in your kitchen, so if you don't have one, you gotta get one. Enjoy your meal today, have some great fish, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.